Hi students, today our topic is addressing and timing protocol in bus communication. There are two chips or printed circuit boards, that is PCB, are connected to a bus. What are those means? Active chips, another one is passive chips. Okay, so active chips are like a processors. It acts as both master and slaves at different times, right? So active chips are like a processor. It can act as both master and slave. And passive chips are like a memories. It can act only as slaves. Okay, so these are the two important things when the communication is establishing between the two devices using system bus. Okay, so what are the things to be followed when you are going to transfer the data using system bus? How the system bus establishes the connections means, first point is master can initiate the bus cycle and slaves respond to a request by a master. Okay, so the masters can request. Master is the only device which initiates the transactions between two devices. So it will send a request signal to the slaves. With the device it wants to make the communication to that particular device, it will send a request. So at the slave end, it will receive the request sent from the master. Based on its condition, it will respond to the request. Thereby the connection will be established between the master and slave. Okay, then only one master can control the bus at a time. So if you take a given time, only one master can be active in the contention basis system. So that active master are called as potential masters. So that master is called as potential master. And one more relationship is given here. One or more slaves can respond to the master's request. That means that a master can interact with the more than one slaves. So there is a one-to-many relationship can be persistent between the master and slaves. So one master can send a request to the more than one slaves, right? So with this knowledge, we are going to see about the addressing and timing protocol in the bus systems. So when you take the backplane specification, it is operating in a fixed clock cycle, fixed bus cycle time. Okay, so there are some performance measures are there. So what are those means? First one is request handling, arbitration, addressing and interrupts. So to optimize the performance, it is mainly this system should be designed to minimize the time required for request handling, arbitration, addressing and interrupts, right? Then there is a two terms associated with this as timing protocols. What are those means? Broadcall and broadcast. These two are the operations. What are those operations means? It is going to tell about the read operation and write operation. So when you take the broadcall is a read operation. Here multiple slaves placing their data on bus lines. That means read operations in the sense, the bus is going to take a data from slaves. Okay, so that's what this operation is called as broadcall. So from many slaves, their data is going to be stored in the bus lines. Okay, then whereas broadcast is the opposite of broadcall. Broadcast is a write operation where multiple slaves writing their data onto their respective storage devices. Okay, it is not going to place it on the bus line. So it is going to store its data into its corresponding storage devices. Okay, so whether the storage devices may be a common device or shared device, or it may be a dedicated devices for its particular slaves. But many slaves are going to write their data on their particular respective storage devices. So that is what it is called as broadcast operation. It is a write operation, right? So I hope you understand this meaning of broadcall and broadcast. These two are the very basic things before going to see these concepts, right? Then, so this diagram shows the number of steps involved in the connections between a master and slave. So what are the steps has to be taken at the master steps, and what are the steps has to be done in the slave side is explained here, right? So we will start explaining, right? So the first step is send request to a bus. So what will happen means this is initiated at the master side. So it will send a request signal to the bus, because bus is a intermediating devices which acts as a bridge between the master and slave. So first master is going to initiate this communication means master only will send a request to the bus. So once it is reached means the bus is allocated. The second step is bus will be allocated for its request. The third step is load address or data on bus. So because the communication is obviously going to be performed like a data transfer, right? So which slave has to be accessed and which data has to be accessed and which address is going to be referred is should be stored on the bus. So that's what load address and data on the bus is done in the third steps, right? In the fourth step, at the side of slave selected after signal is stabilized, right? So the slave will accept its request once the signal is stabilized. Okay, then at the fifth step, once the slave accepts the signal and accepts the request, master will start its data transfer, right? So it will signal the data transfer. So the data transfer is done in the fifth step. Then sixth step, after the data transfer is over, the take at the slave side takes stabilized data. So the data is transferred to the stabilized side, right? Then seventh step is act taking data taken. Data taken in the sense, so data is acknowledged here. Data is acknowledged here. And knowing data taken, remove data and free bus. Right? So the data is once is done, the data will be taken and removed and it should be free from the bus at the step of 8. And ninth is knowing data removed, because in both the sides the data should be removed once this transaction is done and completed. So at the ninth step the same thing is done in the slave side. And 10th one is the sending next bus request. So up to 9th step the one set of data transfer is done. So in the 10th step, it will start initiating the next request or to establish the next connection with the another one slave. So likewise, this first 9 steps exhibits the how the data transfer or communication is established between the master and slave with their respective end. Okay, I hope you understand this topic, right? So in next is synchronous timing. So how the synchronous timing is maintained in the communication means we know the meaning of synchronous. Synchronous in the sense the communication should be done in a fixed clock cycle. There is a fixed clock cycle is maintained for its each transaction in each step of transaction. Okay, so that's what it is called as synchronous timing. So what are those steps means? The first step is to data should be stabilized on the data lines. So in the data lines, the data should be stabilized. And then a master uses the data ready pulse. That means there are 3 signals. I will tell you with the example. So here the bus address communication data is another one line, bus is a one signal, and address is a one signal, and address command so is a one signal, right? So how this communication is established in this synchronous time means once the bus signal is triggered to high, the address will be enabled. Once address is enabled, then it is stabilized in both the sides, masters and slave side. Then the data transfer is done in the second clock cycle. Okay, so that's what the second clock cycle is. At the second clock cycle, the data signal is ready. So at that time only it is triggered. So this is what happening in the synchronous timing. What are these advantages means? It is simple to control. So the first thing is it is simple to control and requires less control circuitry. The control circuitry is also very lesser only and cost is also lesser. But disadvantages it will be suitable for relatively same speed of devices, right? So if all the processors are having the same speed of processing, means this kind of communication is best suitable. Suppose if your system consists of 5 processor, in that 2 processors are very lower in speed and remaining 3 processors are very high speed and advanced, means this kind of synchronous communication will not be giving a efficient result. Okay, so that's what this synchronous time of communication in this bus system is having the disadvantage of only it will be limited for a relatively same speed of processors. Fine, I hope you understand. The next type is asynchronous time. Here, as we know the meaning of asynchronous, there is no fixed clock cycle is maintained. So that's what it is based on the technology called as handshaking and interlocking mechanisms. There are 2 edges are followed here. One is rising edge, another one is trailing edge. So what is meant by rising edge means rising edge will be, I will tell you with example. Here there are 3 signals are used: master ready signal, slave ready signal and data signal, and address command. Address command will be always triggered to high when you start the communication. Here this for enabling the communication, it may take more than 1 clock cycle, because in synchronous it will only take the fixed clock cycle. Within a clock cycle the communication should be established, but it may take more than 1 clock cycle in the asynchronous type. Here master ready is enabled to true or it triggers to high. That time slave ready is also lower. Once the communication is established only, the data line will be enabled. Okay, so this is what given in the asynchronous time. So what is the advantage means, it is having the advantage of variable length clock cycle at different speed. So that's what it will be suitable for varying speed systems of processors, and fast and slow devices can be connected. So thereby it achieves the connections between fast and slow devices, right? I hope you understand this topic. I will catch you in the next video about next topic. Thank you.